Let's do this.
Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Jonathan Tapp with the Kenworth T880 with high-rise sleeper with the PACCAR PX-9 and the Allison transmission. We're going to start. This includes the Hardwood Flatbed trailer as well. So start. We're going to start.
Let's find a new route.
We're going to go to Arkansas today. It's going to be in the Midwest. So, and anyway, it's going to be for waste paper for Little Rock. So, anyway, it's going to be about 2,000 miles, and so I'll be putting it on the NPR here. I don't know when. So let's go get the waste paper and go for a ride.
Keep right, and then turn right. Turn right. Keep right, and then turn right. Turn right. Here we are, safe and sound. Ready to roll.
inevitability of destruction is a very expensive feeling. It's a very important feeling. So there's that part of it. And then if we drill down even further, we get in a little further into it, the way that he would do it, just sort of controlling all facets of the game. The way that he would manipulate inches in the post, get the ball to Tim Duncan in the post, and you give him an inch, you give him 2 inches, he's going to exploit it to his benefit in some sort of way. He's just like a master technician. So, Tim Duncan, the Spurs are my favorite basketball team. Tim Duncan's my favorite basketball player of all time. I've watched him play more basketball games than I have watched any other player ever in my life. And so I just knew when I was putting the book together, after I'd settled on the idea, I knew, well, I want to start it with my favorite player ever.
With your guy?
With my guy. Let me start it with my guy. Let's establish this immediately. And then I want to have, within the chapter, I want to have like something that sort of relays this basketball dominance. I want to have this thing that relays like poetry with which he moved in the post. So there's an actual like poem from the 1800s just in the middle of the chapter for no reason at all, seemingly.
I love that. Yeah, okay. I was like, why am I reading? I was like, oh, this is why I'm reading that. Because this is, he's poetic on the court. Yeah.
Boom. And then to speak to the inevitability of the destruction, I just grabbed a piece, 1 page from the script of the Terminator, threw that into the chapter as well. And you're reading through the book, and it should feel like, as you're working your way through each chapter, you should say, why is this in here? Why am I reading this? And then you get to the end and you go, oh, that's why that was in there. It all snaps together. In the best case scenarios, that's how it goes.
When I asked Jay about his bucket list project, the one that would signify that he was truly living the dream, he kind of shrugged. He might be there already. What's kind of the holy grail project that you can't wait to work on or write about or dig into that brings together all of your different loves, music, pop culture, sports?
You know what? I don't quite know what it is. I know for me, the professional holy grail. It's not a specific project, but professionally, all that I want to do is I just want to be in a position where I can write about the stuff that I want to write about, cover the stuff that I want to cover, and discuss the stuff that I want to discuss. We opened this interview talking about when I was freelancing, right?
Yeah.
And for those first couple of years, it was like I will write about anything that somebody will pay me to write about, and that's a part of the process you got to go through. But I'm closer now to I just want to write about the stuff that I want to write about. I want to spend 4 years working on this book, and that's what I want to do. And if I can continue that, if I can keep that up, then that to me would be pretty great. That's my holy grail that I'm always after. Is just can I just do the stuff I want to do and get money in exchange? And awesome.
Well, Shay, this has been a total pleasure. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is super fun.
Next time on Sports in America.
There is a narrative that the game must go on.
With the NFL draft coming up, we're going to sit down with DeMaurice Smith, who spent 14 years as the head of the NFL Players Association, the union for professional football players. One of the most important parts of his job is simply to ensure their safety.
What started to terrify me was when it first happened, it was just a routine tackle.
At times, that meant going head-to-head with NFL leadership during contentious battles like the 2011 lockout and Colin Kaepernick's 2016 protests for racial justice.
Man, the thing that makes football fantastic, like all sport, is it's still humans playing it. But the minute we lose the humanity of that, I think it ceases being sport.
That's next week on Sports in America. This is Sports in America. I'm your host, David Green. Our executive producers are Joan Isabella and Tom Grassler. Our senior producer is Michael Olcott. Our producer is Michaela Winberg. And our associate producer is Bibiana Correa. Our engineer is Mike Villers. Our talent booker is Britt Kahn. Our tile artwork was created by B. Wall. Sports in America is a production of WHYY in Philadelphia and is distributed by PRX. Some of our interviews were originally created by Religion of Sports, with special thanks to Adam Schlossman. You can find Sports in America on Apple Podcasts.
Your support for Houston Public Media powers the programs you trust and rely on. And your employer may help your contribution go even further. Many employers sponsor matching gift programs, doubling or even tripling employee contributions. It's an easy way to maximize your impact on the programs you rely on. Search for your company and get started today at houstonpublicmedia.org/match.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from listeners like you and from attorney mediator Ron Bankston, providing in-person, video conference, and hybrid mediation and arbitration services. More information is available at ronbankston.com. Your NPR station, News 88.7 KUHF Houston, a service of the University of Houston. Get local and breaking news anytime at houstonpublicmedia.org. Listen to us on your favorite devices. Tell your smart speaker to play News 88.7.
Hey y'all, Sam Sanders here. Today on my show with KCRW, we're going back to the 90s with comedian Rob Anderson. Rob's new solo show breaks down the most absurd pop culture from my favorite decade.
There were a lot of misses looking back. Like, it is crazy how unrealistic some of the depictions of very serious things are.
Yeah.
Like teenage pregnancy and drugs.
We explore the lessons of 90s pop culture and our enduring need for nostalgia. Plus, after years of controversial and offensive behavior, Kanye West is selling out massive stadiums again.
There's a broader kind of cultural moment of people who had been canceled, cast aside, who are being welcomed back in one way or another, right?
Bloomberg's Lucas Shaw on the reality of cancel culture. Coming up this hour after these headlines.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Janine Herbst. President Trump says the U.S. Navy seized an Iranian-flagged ship that tried to get past the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. He says the Navy blew a hole in the engine room and that the Marines now have custody of the ship. Meanwhile, Trump says negotiations with Iran on ending the war will resume in Pakistan tomorrow. NPR's Tamara Keith has more.
In a social media post this morning, he said U.S. officials would be returning to Islamabad late Monday for more negotiations. But then he also resumed his threats to target civilian infrastructure if Iran doesn't make a deal. Quote, "We're offering a very fair and reasonable deal, and I hope they take it, because if they don't, the United States is going to knock out every single power plant and every single bridge in Iran. No more Mr. Nice Guy!" Exclamation point.
NPR's Tamara Keith reporting. It's not clear if Iran plans to attend. In Louisiana, authorities say a domestic disturbance turned into a mass shooting in Shreveport that left at least 8 children dead, 2 others injured. Police say the gunman is dead and was a relative of some of the children killed. The shooting took place at 2 homes before the gunman carjacked a vehicle and was shot by police. The share of first-time home buyers has fallen to another record low. NPR's Jennifer Ludden reports they made up just 21% of all recent buyers at a time when many are priced out of the market.
Boomers remain the largest share of home buyers overall, often using equity from an existing house to move to another. That's according to a new report by the National Association of Realtors. Home buying by millennials fell in the past year, though some older millennial buyers are trading up, and that group has the highest median household income of any generation. The Realtors report finds the youngest adults, Gen Z, now make up a tiny sliver of homeowners, 4%, and more than a third of those buyers are single females. Overall, the housing market remains stuck, with high prices and high mortgage rates keeping many unable to buy, and many current owners feeling unable to move. Jennifer Ludden, NPR News, Washington.
Energy Secretary Chris Wright says the average price of a gallon of gas may not drop below $3 until next year. This is the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran, and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz continues to hit energy markets hard. Since the U.S.-Israeli war started in February, crude oil prices and the cost of gas at the pump has been rising. AAA says the price of a gallon is $4.04 nationwide. Crude oil prices are up 6% today amid the standoff in the Strait of Hormuz. And U.S. futures contracts are trading lower at this hour. Dow futures are down 391 points. NASDAQ futures down 158. You're listening to NPR News. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is set to address Parliament tomorrow. facing backlash over his appointing Peter Mendelsohn, who had a relationship with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, as ambassador to the U.S., this despite failed security checks. Crowds gathered in Angola to celebrate Mass with Pope Leo as he continues his trip across Africa. The tour comes after the Pope's appeals for an end to the conflict in the Middle East, which prompted criticism from President Trump. Speaking to reporters yesterday, the Pope said remarks he made earlier about peace were not aimed at Trump. Angola is the third leg of the Pope's visit to Africa. NPR's Michael Koloki has more on what's being called a landmark tour.
Upon his arrival to the Southern African nation, the pontiff met with Angola's President João Lourenço. In an address to government officials, Pope Leo made references to Angola's former civil war, which began shortly after the country gained independence from Portugal in 1975 and went on until 2002. More than 500,000 people are believed to have been killed during the fighting. In his speech, the Pope offered words of encouragement to the Angolan people, saying that they hold, quote, a joy that not even the most adverse circumstances have been able to extinguish. Pope Leo's fourth and final leg of his African visit will take him to Equatorial Guinea, a country where more than 70% of the population identify as Catholic. For NPR News, I'm Michael Kaloki in Nairobi.
And futures contracts are trading at lower at this hour. Dow futures are now down 406 points. NASDAQ futures down 154. I'm Janine Herbst, NPR News in Washington.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, supporting creative people and effective institutions committed to building a more just, verdant, and peaceful world. More information is at macfound.org.
Tonight on Houston Public Media TV8, it's a night of new drama starting with Call the Midwife at 7. Then Masterpiece presents two new series, The Four Sights at 8 and The Count of Monte Cristo at 9. Tonight on TV8.
Support comes from West Chase District, serving businesses with office options, regional connectivity, amenity investments, and talent pool access within a managed business and residential hub in Houston. More on how West Chase works at westchasedistrict.com.
Hey y'all, it's the Sam Sanders Show from KCRW, all about the things that entertain us. Thank you so much for listening. This week, comedian Rob Anderson. Rob's been touring a stage show all about 90s pop culture and TV and movies and how absurd it all was.
It meant well.
It meant well.
It meant well. Come on. Like, well-intentioned. Yeah. Well-intentioned.
Yeah. But first, Kanye West. He's making a comeback. Ye, as he likes to be called now, just played 2 sold-out stadium shows in Los Angeles. A bunch of fans and famous people were there to support him.
Drive safe. Caution, please mind the speed limit. Keep right, and then exit right. Exit right. Keep right, and then turn right. Turn right. Go straight on. ready to turn right. Turn right. right. Time to hit the road. Keep right, and then turn right.